Hello everybody. Let's get images into our games. This is what my game looks like right now. This is the working demo. So I've got balloons here, these red ellipses. I want to replace these red ellipses with actual images of balloons. And this is to illustrate how you could do this with other things. So we're going to do this first in the simplest way possible, but it's a bad way to do it, and then we'll talk about why it's bad and how to improve it. So here's the simplest way to do it. We have to put an image. We have to put an image of the thing that we want inside our project. Then we have to load the image, and then we have to display the image. So let's start by getting the image. So here I am. I've searched for balloon sprite. I'm just going to right-click and say save link as. No, save image as. And it's saving as PNG file format, and that seems fine. And I'm going to save it here in my downloads. Okay, so now it exists in downloads, and now what I need to do is I need to copy it into my project. Usually you don't put images and sound files and other things into source, because source is for your source code only. So I think it's a good idea to create a new directory, same word as folder. Directory means folder. And I'm going to call it assets. You could call it images or whatever you want. And now I want to copy it into assets. So it's called balloon sprites. I want a shorter, easier to type name. So I'm just going to rename it to balloon.png. And then I'm just going to copy it and paste it directly into assets. And it's saying, do we want to copy? And the answer is yes. And I'll add it to Git. And so now we can see here's the asset. So there's some stuff I'm going to want to change here. Like I don't want all this white space around the outside, but we'll come back and fix that in a second pass. So the way that you load images, well, let's start this way. So here I am inside game. The data type that represents an image in processing is called a P image. So I'm going to create a P image called balloon image, and I'll import the P image. Okay, so now I have a balloon image variable, but I haven't actually loaded the image yet. We're going to load the image inside setup. So here, actually, let's do it in an even worse spot. Let's go find where we're actually drawing balloons. So b dot. Okay, so here, this is inside my draw method. So inside my draw method, I'm looping over all my balloons and having them update their positions. And I'm having my bullets update their positions and so on. And down here, I'm having all the objects draw themselves. So I'm having all the bullets draw themselves. And here's where I have all the balloons draw themselves. So what if we were going to do this? What if we were going to say balloon image equals load image, and then I need to give it the name of my image. So I can't just say balloon.png. Wow, I have a real problem typing balloon. I can't just say balloon.png because balloon is inside this assets folder. A great way of making sure you have the right path is to click on the thing you want the path for and then say copy path. So I'm going to copy the path from content root, and I will paste it. And so you can see balloon.png is inside the assets folder here. Okay, so I've loaded the image. Let's change how draw works. So I'll pass it the image I want it to display as. So right now there's an error because I need to change how draw works. So here I am inside balloon. Here I'll take a P image as an input. Let's import it. And then instead of drawing an ellipse, I'll comment that out. I'll say window dot image is the method that will display an image. And the first input is the image I want it to display, and then it's the XY coordinates where I want it to get displayed from. So let's run it and see what it looks like now. So here we go. This is actually running much faster than I was expecting. I was trying to do something that was very slow on purpose, but we don't see it being that slow. Depending on the size of your image and how many you have, though, this is going to be very, very slow. So let's talk about why. this method opens the file on the disk and loads it from disk. Accessing things on your hard disk is very, very slow. So I wouldn't want to do this. I wouldn't want to load the image from a file every single time I want to display a balloon. Instead, I want to do it once at the very beginning and then never again. It's also bad design to have my balloon image be here inside game. Like, the game class isn't responsible for how balloons look. That should be the balloon class is responsible for that. So let's do this. Let's grab our balloon variable and let's put it here at the top of balloon, which is more sensibly who should be responsible for it. And then here, instead of loading it there, let's remove those. Let's have our, like if a balloon image is supposed to be an attribute of a balloon, the constructor is the thing that should be responsible for initializing that variable. So let's put the initialization there. You'll notice we have a problem, and we'll come back to that in just a second. But down here in draw, where's draw? So down here in draw, we no longer want to take the image as input. Instead, we'll do this dot balloon image. Okay, so if we could only load the image now, this is going to work. So each time we construct a balloon, we'll load the image from disk, and then every single time we ask to draw it, we'll just take the already loaded image, the already loaded P image here. Okay, so the main issue here is load image is a method that only p-applets can do. I wonder if it's static. Let's try it. It would be really convenient if it were static. It is not static. Okay, cool. So because it's not static, we need a window object. We need a p-applet object in order to load the image. So let's change our constructor here. I'm going to pass a p-applet called window as the first input. And then I can ask the window to load the image for me right here. Okay, so that's going to create two problems, which is wherever I try and instantiate balloon. So back here in game, I'm instantiating a balloon here, and so I'm going to have to pass this. Why am I passing this? Because the keyword this refers to the current class that's running, and the current class that's running is an object that is a p-applet, because I'm extending p-applet. So it's like when I create my balloon, I have to give it a p-applet, so I'm going to give it this p-applet, the one that's running right now. All right, so we've made the changes. Let's run it and make sure it still runs. All right, so it's still running. We're noticing the balloons are still way too big, and there's this white space, and there's other bad things about it. Let's fix one more thing related to speed. It's a little bit silly to have each balloon object have its own copy of the image, because balloons are all going to look the same. So let's make it static. And once we've made it static, now all balloon objects are going to share it in common. So we don't need to reload it from disk every single time we make a new balloon object. We really only need to load it once. So let's do this. I'll say if balloon image equals null, that means we've never loaded the balloon image before, and so we should load it and save it. If balloon image is not null, that means we've already loaded the image, and so there's no sense in reloading it from disk. So here I'm enforcing that I'm loading it only once. So that'll also help with speed. Okay, come back in the next video for how are we going to actually make it better by cropping it and resizing it and making sure collision detection still works.